Hi everyone, it's Kathleen. We are here today to continue working on stitches while we are waiting for our next prompt in the Roxys Journal of Stitchery. So I am making a book, a stitch book. Mine is going to be called Treasure Hunt of Stitches, and I am practicing lots of various stitches with different kinds of yarns and threads. So today we are going to be working on a variation of this little cup stitch, which was a variation of the buttonhole or wheel stitch. So with the buttonhole or wheel stitch, we started off by doing a blanket stitch and then going another row, and that's just how you get those little cup stitches. And we are going to a different anchor circle. The starting row would be a back stitch. So I've pre-done 3 rows of back stitch, and I've just used these yarns in the top right hand corner of your screen. This is knitting yarn. It's a merino yarn. It was a variegated yarn, and I took it apart, the big ball, into various colors. They're still variegated within the colors, and it's a sock weight yarn that you would knit with. But I'm going to stitch with it. We're also going to go on here and work one of those circles from scratch with the Very Velvet. So this is the stitch we're going to be doing today. This is the trellis stitch, and it is done the same way, same needlework as the cup stitch that we've done here, except our base row is not going to be a buttonhole circle, it's just going to be back stitches. So I have, let's just thread up this pink thread, and I'll show you how that's done. So I've already threaded that Very Velvet, but I'll unthread it. So on my piece of cotton, I just took some coins and I laid a coin down. I can't reach my pencil, sorry. And I just drew around my toonie, because I live in Canada. I drew around my dime and I drew around my nickel around here. And I made circles and I back stitched with those 3 different kinds of yarn. So this is a chenille needle, and I'm using a chenille needle because I'm working with a very furry thread, and my milliner's needle might I might have a harder time going in there, so getting in my needle. So I am threading my needle, and I've already done a back stitch, like I said. And so where did I end off? Ended off over here. So we are going to, I'm going to turn my work around and, okay. So when we come up, we're going to come up after we've back stitched our circle. We're going to come up. Our needle is on the inside of the thread, and I'm going to pull it through, and we're going to start. So we are going to use, again, it's the same arcing clockwise of the yarn up and around the circle. And then we're going to be taking you can either work with a tapestry needle, but because this is a pointy end, I want to work with my dull end, and I'm going to work with the eye of the chenille needle. So we came up in between a back stitch on the inside of the circle. So our first leg that we're going to go under is the next complete leg. So our thread is arced and around, and we are going to go under that back stitch and making sure our needle is above this thread, and we're going to pull it all the way. And I'm going to pull my needle, I'm going to pull my thread so it's kind of going up towards the camera. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to arc my thread, and my next back stitch, I'm going to go under it, making sure my needle is above my thread, and I'm going to pull it up. The next back stitch, I'm going to go under every single back stitch, and as I pull up, and making sure our thread is over and around, go under our next back stitch and pull up, arc our thread, and we are pulling. So we're going to go around every single, now did I just do that one? That one's pulled really tight. So yes, I did go in there. Move our thread arced around, and we're going to go around under the next back stitch. Okay, so you can see how this thread is forming, and I'm going to make my arc, go under the next back stitch, and pull, okay, up. So I'm going to pull a little bit closer towards me now, and under the next back stitch. Yeah, it's better if I pull towards me rather than up. Arc, you see how my thumb is pulling that thread out of the way, so I can go underneath the back stitch, and I pulled it snugly, and under the next, we keep going all the way around the first row of back stitches, and always just go under the next one and pull, and next. Okay, I gotta lay it down. I've got an extra purple thread here from that purple circle I was gonna do. So I am pulling my fabric just to make sure that it's straight, because this is thin fabric. So the next arc can go under the next back stitch. And this might be the last one under. Okay, now when you come, okay, this is, oh, okay, let me, how come I have one that looks like this? Okay, so this here will be our next stitch. You can see this is the first loop. Now we're going to go under the loops. The first row was, we stuck our needle under the back stitch. Now the next round, we're going to stick our needle under this first loop. I want to see if I can, some of the ladies were saying that it was too blurred. So I'm moving it up. This is under the first loop. I'll try to keep my fabric straight, and again we always arc under the second loop, and I'm only under one thread. So we're going to do 2 rounds. You see how I always arc my thread, and I look for my yarn and go under it. Arc my thread, go under, oh, I keep hitting it. my camera setup. I have an iPhone. I'm not professional. I just have an iPhone and a $3.50 stand. That is all I have. And we're doing the best we can. So if it wiggles, it wiggles. Next loop. And up. I am not computer literate. I don't add fancy music or fancy stuff because I just don't know how. And I'm not interested in doing the computer part. I'm interested in creating. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Arc your thread and go underneath the next loop. Arc your thread, go under the next loop, all the way around, and I'm just doing 2. Oh, I still have a little ways to go yet. This is the next loop. Okay, my eyes are blurry. I can't seem to. Here, I gotta let my thread go because it's very tangled. So let's arc it and let's find our where's my loop? That loop. This one is the next loop. The thicker your thread that you're working with, the easier it is to see where your loop is. You'll see in the very velvet. Okay, this is the next loop. And these will create, okay, where's my next loop? Oh, I did that one. Arch, and then this is maybe my last loop. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to lay it down, pull my fabric. Okay, I'm going to leave it at, should I do the whole thing for you, just to do the whole round circle? This one here is done with the size 5 Perle Cotton. It looks so nice. I like how you can stick your finger underneath there and see the little loop. So you can do the same thing with this one. Do I want to leave it? I'm going to leave it just because I can. And okay, so where do you put the needle down? So our next loop would be here. So let's go down where our next loop is, all the way. Okay. Just a moment. How come I'd have got... You know what? I think I want to add this little bit. It doesn't look right to me, so I'm just going to take this out so you can remove stitches. So here we are. So I'm just taking out just something I've done because I just don't like the way it looks. Okay, so I'm at the correct spot. Let's thread our needle again. And let's do that again. So if you don't like how your stitch turned out because of where you placed your yarn or your thread, just remove it and let's go again. So this is my next thread here. So okay, let's move our thread up and around. Okay, my eyes aren't adjusting. So that's my thread. This is my next one. Why doesn't it look very good to me? Let's try this again. I'm going to give it one more. So where's the next loop? This is the next loop. I'm going to use this one. Okay, and we're going to go down in the next loop. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so that's a nice little loop-de-loop. That is a, what did I call it, a trellis stitch? I'm I'm not sure if it's in Sharon Bogan's book or not, but I wanted to include it because I know it's a variation of, well, we did that whipped wheel, or the wheel cup. Ah, these guys are falling. So cut this. All right, so this pink guy is done. And the purple one, we are at 15. The purple one will be done just like this. Oh, shoot-a-maroo, I didn't put the phone on airplane mode. Goodness, I hope I don't get interrupted. So that's how you do the trellis stitch. It'll be the same doing it in this purple. Let's do some quick rounds in the purple. And then I want to do that very velvet. Okay, I'm going to put these away because they're just rolling downhill. And 1, 2, 3. I have my stitching box, sewing box beside me. And so this is still the merino yarn. That is a fingering weight for knitting. So that's where I came out. And now let's, our next stitch. So where is this? Okay, that's a big one. So we're going to come out in the center of the back stitch on the inside of the circle, and maybe I can fold it like this. Okay, so the yarn goes up and around, and we go in the next. And let's pull it towards me. Up and around. Always bring your needle over the thread. Pull it towards me. Fling your yarn back. Go over it, over the yarn. Come on, finger. And pull it towards me. Arc. Under the back stitch. And pull towards me. Oops. Oh my goodness, is this the next one? Yes, it is. It's hard to tell sometimes. Okay, let's position that thread. And pull towards me. Arc. That number 5 Perle Cotton looks so gorgeous, but I wanted to try it in other yarns as well. Here, up and around. Looks like I'm getting quite far apart, but that's what it is. Up and around. And we go under the back stitch and over the yarn and pull. Under the back stitch, over the yarn and pull. Arc our yarn, under the back stitch, over the yarn and pull. Arc our yarn, under the back stitch and pull. Arc our yarn, under the back stitch. I can feel the camera moving, and it's because it's on a bed tray. It's attached to the bed tray this time because things are just not very user-friendly around here. And arc. Go under the back stitch and pull. Arc. Under the back stitch and pull. I'm going to lift this up so it detangles. Okay, that looks really good. I'm going to keep going. So this is the next, this is the first loop. We're finished our back stitches. So this is the next stitch. It's the first loop. So you go in just under the first loop and pull, arc. Okay, keep your eye on the next loop. It'll be easier. Who the heck is texting me up a storm? And arc your thread under the next loop and pull, arc. What's this? I can't see. Let's try this one. I'm not sure if that's one or not. Sometimes it's hard to tell. And we just keep going all around the net. We just grab the next loop and go under it. Okay, I've got to pull my thread. I'm going to just use the rest of this thread up because you need a long length of thread when you do this. And just fold me under again. Arc our thread under the next loop and pull. Arc under the next loop. Geez, I can't see. It's hard to see. Oh my God, that texting is crazy. Up and around and pull. So we're filling in the circle by doing little knots like this under the loops. And we keep going round and round. And I have to drop my needle again, it's all tangled. Okay. Arc, under, and pull. Okay, looks like we're on the second row. At least it seems that way. I can't remember where I started. So I'm just going to keep going until I run out of thread. Just taking up the next loop. As you get smaller, smaller, smaller in your circle, you're going to have to miss a loop. So it's a matter of just figuring, you'll know, because your stitches should be about the same distance apart. Uh-oh, seem to have a knot here. Lots of activity and sawing and building going on, as you can hear in the background. Got the windows open. Too many mosquitoes out there right now, so that's why I'm not sitting outside. And that. And this. Oh, it's getting nice and smaller. Couple more. Couple more. So the different threads you used, your trellis will look different in the yarn or in the DMC Perle Cotton or embroidery floss. Okay, I'm going to just anchor down. So let's open up our thread. And the next stitch would be here. So I'm just going to take my pointy part of the needle and go down there. There we go, and that's it. That's this one. See, it looks different in the wool than the Perle Cotton, and that takes a lot of time because look at how small those stitches are. We're going to do it with this thick thread, this very velvet, but I'm going to make a double knot and take that off. cut it off. Okay, so this one is done. My examples of my cup stitch and my trellis stitch. They're created the same way in the round, but it's how they look. Okay, I guess I don't need my money here anymore. And Very Velvet. This is, you can buy this on the Sue Spargo site. It's probably about $6 US a package like this. Okay, so I knotted the end, and I'm going to thread this chenille needle. Hands aren't cooperating. And pull through. Okay, so let's do the back stitch. Oh, shoot a maru. Oh, don't catch my finger. I needed one of those coins. Oh, where is my bigger one? What do I have? A toonie? That's a nickel, that's small. Let's do the toonie. And I was just gonna go here. So let's open this up. We did these cup stitches, and this is a trellis stitch. This is a trellis stitch, and so is that. So it just looks a little different if the yarn you use or the thread. So here, I'm going to lay my toonie down, lay your circle down, and we're going to do just a back stitch all the way around this circle. Oh, okay, I went through something. Oh, you little beep. Okay, where's my first thread? Okay, now pull. There we are. Okay, wow, so you see how my stitch length is? It's just so crappy. Very crappy stitch length. They are very uneven. Okay, so let's up and down. And I always go down the same thread that I came up. Hope it doesn't get blurry because I'm going to be moving. So your foundation row for this trellis stitch, the same stitch as this nice blue one, is the back stitch. I can't draw a circle on the wool. This is wool cloth I'm working on. I can't do that way. I just have to pierce my thread, go in and out, and in and out. Love this wool that I couched down on this project. I should have just done a cloth like this, but that's okay. I'm doing both, actually, filling up this cloth and the book, because I started this as stitch play, just playing with stitches. Oh, why am I? Okay, make sure my coin is down to get a nice round circle. Okay, I'm trying to hurry by doing it this way. See if it'll work or not. neighbors are talking out back. Oh, that is the craziest looking circle ever. OMG. Mental note, don't put buttons on until the very end. I always get these buttons caught. Always. Backstitch foundation row can be done with anything. We've tried it with Perle Cotton. We tried it with cotton yarn. I crochet lots and lots and lots. So I have yarn. So that's why if I use yarn, well, it's because I have it. I have ribbon too. We're going to be doing stitches with ribbon. Your stitches, your stems look beautiful in ribbon. Okay, look at that. And a couple more stitches, then we can get on to the trellis. And this. Okay, let's take this coin, put it away. And I have 2 more stitches. And I'm sitting in bed totally, my tray's on me, the camera's on me. I can't just shut the, oh, maybe I can. Ouch. Oh. There, maybe that'll keep it quieter. Okay, so I came down here. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the, whoa. Okay, we're working on the trellis stitch. So we come up in the center of the circle, in between one of your back stitches. We're going to use our eye of our needle, and again it's the same motion. Arc your thread clockwise, go under the back stitch, and pull under the back stitch. And we always arc our thread over this, over and around clockwise, under the back stitch, and pull. Because this is a thicker thread, you should be able to see the actual stitches. These are little dots because the thread is so thin. Now we arc it. And pull, arc it under the back stitch, and pull, arc, under the back stitch, and pull. Oh my goodness. Arc. Under the back stitch, and pull. Arc. Oh boy, here, maybe I might have to pull it out. Okay, got it there. Under the back stitch and pull. So the first row is done under the back stitch. The next, all the other rows are thereafter are done under the next loop. This very velvet I got on the Sue Spargo website. Paid for shipping to Canada, which was exorbitant. And Sue Spargo charges duty, so expect to get a bill in the mail from the Canada Customs. Awesome. So your thread is like gold after you get it. So your $5 thread probably cost $10 or $12 by the time you're done paying the taxes and the delivery. Awesome. Okay. And you see, I always arc my thread under the next, okay, under the next back stitch and pull towards you. You could see how it's starting to form those little loops on the inner portion of the circle. This is the last back stitch. Whoa, what did I do here? Back stitch I went under. Okay, now we're coming to the loop. Okay, this is the next loop we're going under. So this is the first of the loops. So this is round 2. So under the loop. Arc your thread, go under the next loop. So it's easier to see where your loops are. And I have to turn my work. Still arcing over. Under that loop. And keep working. You could fill it right up. Maybe this very velvet I'll fill right up. I'll do a complete circle. Whoops. Okay, make sure your thread is arced. Arc your thread. Go under the next loop. Am I in camera? Arc. Under the loop. Pull. Arc. Under the next loop. Pull. Arc. Under the next loop, pull, arc, under the next loop, pull. I'm going to move my threads and stuff so I don't knock it over, and even that little bit. So it's just me in this little piece here. Arc. Under the next loop and pull, arc, under the next loop and pull. Okay, arc. We want to use as much of this very velvet as possible because it's worth its weight in gold. Arc under the next loop and pull, arc. Under the next loop and pull, arc. Oh, I think I did that one. Sometimes it's easy to see, sometimes it's hard. It's nice to keep your eye on the next loop as you work. And I'm really getting short of thread here. So I'm going to, this is my next loop that I go under. So I'm just going to go over it and down. And now I'm going to make a knot and I'm going to reload my thread. Because that was a whole arm's length. And I'm going to take out another arm's length because I'm going to fill up this circle. Would help if I had this. I'm going to thread our chenille needle. knot our very velvet. And we're going to come up in the same spot. Okay, from the back. Let's see. Come up the same spot we went down. Arc our thread, and we're going to continue. And I'm going to keep my eye on the next loop so I don't mess up. Always arc and under the next loop and pull. And I'm going to turn my work. My eye is still on my next loop. And pull. See, I think I might have skipped a loop there because our circle's getting smaller. So sometimes you have to skip a loop. Okay, I gotta spread this out a bit better. Okay. Arc. Catch just one loop. Go under and pull. Arc. Go under and pull. Arc, go under and pull. Arc, and I'm going to skip one. Go under and pull. There's no rhyme or reason. You can't say you're going to skip every second one or every third one because you don't know. You just go by looks. Arc. And keep going around the circle. You can see how holy it is compared to the other threads. If you took my Angora thread and did another circle like this, it'll be nice and furry, and the yarn itself will be fluffy and fill in. So see, the yarn looks different from the Very Velvet, looks different from the Perle Cotton. I love the Perle Cotton. It's my favorite. And it's the most time consuming because you have to make lots of little knots as you're going around. Arc, under the loop and pull. Arc, under the loop and pull. So this is our next one, but I'm going to skip that, I think, and go under this next one. It's okay, Jacques. I'm going to skip another one. As the circle gets smaller, you have to turn your work a lot more frequently. Come on, finger, don't let go. Let's do this one. Come on. And under. How many more? Ooh, maybe one more? One or two more, and we have a completed circle. And this trellis stitch looks different in a solid color rather than a variegated color, or the other two variegated colors I used. And let's do one more. Oh, lovely. I think I'm done. So I'm going to go down right here, just in through there. There. Okay. I'm going to tie it off. And cut this off. Take this off and put that down, and let's have a look. So this is the cup stitch done in wool, merino wool. This is done in the trellis stitch done in very velvet, and this is trellis stitch done in pearl cotton. So pearl cotton looks the nicest to me. This is done, again, these are trellis stitches. This is done in cotton and in cotton. So they look different if you use different threads. So where's that Angora? Oh yes, look at you. Look at you, fluffiness. Look at that gorgeous fluffiness. That too was got at, that is furry. See how nice and furry that is? That'll make a really nice trellis stitch. Trellis. So let's cut that off and let's make a small one. So let's bring me back. Where's my nickel? Alrighty, let's go. And we're gonna, this is the last one. So I'm gonna make this on this trellis stitch on here. Okay, I just lost my needle. It's in my hand. For the love of God. Trellis, and we're gonna thread that Angora and tie a double knot, because remember, in some yarns really let go. So where's my nickel? I know, oh, here he is. So where would I like to put this pretty little guy? Let's put him right here. Let's put him right there. Okay, and again, we are just going to be making this back stitch very quickly. Hopefully my stitches will be even. And because it's furry, it tends to get tangled easier. So and I can't draw a circle on this. And if you don't want to pull it too tight, like I did, you can just pull it out a little bit, because you're going to need that thread to work with. And I'm probably making a very oddball circle. See, look, the threads are already combining. Oh, gosh. So the hardest part for me is making this circle, believe it or not. Okay. Look at this wonky circle. Oh my Lord. Oh well. If it's a wonky circle, it's a wonky circle, right? Wonky circle. So this would be Angora wool that you would buy in a wool shop. Or just on a small little bit. For sewing, this thing here probably costs $5 or $6. You don't get too much on there. You can get it from Sue Spargo, but it's nice to try. SueSpargo.com. Store in Ohio, US. Oh, look at that. I'm just about finished. So let's just make one here. Okay, and we're going to come up in the middle of that stitch right there. Oh, that doesn't even look like the middle. Let's just go down, get rid of our nickel, and come up in the middle. Alrighty. Okay, where are we here? Okay, we're on the inside. Let's get rid of that. Oh, shoot, Amaru. Okay. Let's come up on the inside. And again, we're going to try to do this quickly. We're going to arch. Always arc our thread clockwise around the circle, and we're going to go under the first back stitch and under the next back stitch all the way around. What are you doing, Jacques? So hopefully you'll see the difference when you have the yarns. This yarn will be furry and it'll blend in. These are tiny little knots, so it takes you forever to do those, but it is worthwhile. To me, that's my favorite one. DMC has always been my Perle Cotton. I said a wrong thing. Perle Cotton is my favorite. This looks very similar. That's my daughter texting. I shouldn't laugh at her misfortune, but I do. She's on the plane. She's lucky she gets to travel for her business, and she's going to a conference in Las Vegas, so she's ticked off because she's stuck on the plane in Las Vegas tarmac because they don't have a gate. Oh my Lord. The experience people are having in Canada. Oh, I know that's in the States, but oh my gosh. Not enough workers in the airport, not enough gates, not enough planes, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we're under the next loop, and we're going to go the next loop all the way around, and hopefully we'll see a nice furry circle when we're done. Turn it. all the way around. Next one. And I'm not going to do it all the way. I'm just going to do a couple rows. We're going to see what 2 rows looks like. There we are. So we're going to get smaller and smaller. So, holy Hannah. Okay, I like that circle there. So I'm going to go under the next one and call it quits. I like the way that looks. And tie a knot. And because this is yarn and it might undo, like that one is starting to undo, I'm just going to catch my yarn. Oh, look at that, I can't do anymore. I just have to stop there. So that's it for today, and I'll show you what we've done for the trellis stitch. Okay, let's move my needle. So where are we here? This is a trellis stitch in cotton yarn, trellis stitch in cotton yarn, trellis stitch in Perle Cotton, trellis stitch in Angora. I like how you can go underneath. I really like how that feels. This is a completely round, completely filled in trellis stitch done in Very Velvet. Cup stitch, which is similar to the trellis stitch, but only starting with a wheel stitch. This is done with variegated yarn. And in our book, trellis stitch done with a fingering weight of merino yarn. In the purple, fingering weight of merino yarn in the fuchsia. And these are wheel cups done with embroidery floss. Just one layer, one round here, one round in the top 2 and 2 rounds in the bottom. And the only variation is how you start your anchoring row. So the cup stitch is started with the wheel stitch, which is a buttonhole stitch going in a circle. And the trellis stitch, all of these are started with a back stitch. So enjoy, everyone, and thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.